what that sounds like. Does this sound better? That sounds better. Oh, shit. Shit, my cat is physically holding me back. I'm doing a thing. Buddy. And we're also going to turn this down a little bit. We're... In case you're here, just so aggressively quiet now. It's just a... Oh, I see what's happening now. That's not what I wanted. That's what I want. There. Oh god, you're freaking out. You're twitching your face. Okay. Let's see if we can get the music to come through and if it'll balance well with me speaking. One man job, man. This is how we do it. To get some vibes in the background here. We'll turn this down a little bit more and we should be good. We should be good. Since you're being a menace though, dude, I'm going to absolutely be making you say hi. Which, let me put all of my devices on vibrate. Hello. So, Chip is here. Nope, don't. Ugh. Oh. Chip is here being a spoiled brat. He just threw himself into my lap. So, we're cuddling now. Didn't have a say in this, did I? No, I did not. No, I did not. But he's here now. My baby boy. My baby big gums. He's so cute. So, salutations friends. My name is Brianna C. Bond, otherwise known as No Ordinary Scholar, and today we are talking about Chaos by Sydney Damon. And I will admit I may have a tiny bit of a bias because I do happen to be friends with this author, but like, it's fine. It's totally, isn't it? It's fine. He agrees. It's fine. So let's talk about this story. So this story takes place in this dystopian society. Everything's falling apart. The rich just keep getting richer. The poor are struggling to survive. You know the story. So we have like we have a pretty solidly big cast in this story. We've got Elsie, Henry, Charlotte, Wesley, Anna, Tristan, I think Trey is their boyfriend's name, and Lucy. That's like the general group that we're hanging out with. Wesley, at like the start of the book, his brother, or no, it's not even the start of the book. This happens this happens like a little bit before the events of the book take place. His brother is murdered, and that is just kind of the vibe of the city. People die. You have no time to grieve. You kind of have to get on with it. There's even a daily death list in which every day they just post a literal list of the bodies that turned up. That is what this society is, really. And So Wesley's brother Cade is murdered, and he's trying to like get by in life whilst raising their little sister Talia. Wesley and his girlfriend Charlotte they're driving to or from a date one day, and they come across this super powered person that is trying to stop an armed robbery. In the process, they're like, they like see that the person's super powered, but they're still, particularly Charlotte, is still like, I've got to do something to help. So she gets her ass out of the car and goes and attacks these heavily armed people. And to be fair, she does help. She does not end up dying, thankfully. But so they do end up helping out with the burglary. And it turns out that the superpowered person was their classmate, which before I say it, it's truly like the beginning of the book. So it's not like a major thing, but it is still a spoiler review. But it turns out that this is their classmate, Elsie, who is like Cade's old best friend Henry, who also has superpowers, and Lucy, Tristan, and I feel like his name is Trey, but I really don't think his name is Trey. But I do not remember what their other boyfriend's name is. So we're gonna go with Trey. But yeah, Elsie, Henry, Trey, Tristan, and Lucy are all working to try and bring down this like cultish organization that is doing all of these very specific and like very sacrificial type killings that happened to apply to Cade as well. And so Wesley is like, nah, I'ma get in there too. I'ma work on this too. I'ma help out too, because it's my brother. Which, you know, I get it. I guess I get it. Really quick, talking about everyone's superpowers, because in this world everyone has superpowers, and not everyone. I lied to you. In this world, some people have superpowers, and superpowers can be passed to you. Either you're born with it, or someone as they're dying can give you their powers. It is, I believe, something to do with like some form of descendants of a specific type of being that had power, or you're the direct descendant of a god. I think those are two separate classes in the whole magic and superpower system that we've got going on here. So a good chunk of the people in our main cast have superpowers. Cade himself had a superpower. He could see people's emotions, and I believe I don't remember if he always could feel them, but with really strong negative emotions, he definitely could. Wesley has the ability to heal and the ability to turn into and like coat his body in a material that he is touching. I feel like there's a specific superhero from the OG X-Men live action movies that also did this, but it could also be me just like misremembering, and it's just Iceman or something. But you often see Cade pick up like a metal bar, and you'll often see Wesley pick up like a metal bar, and then the metal of that bar, whatever specific type of metal that bar is made out of, will coat his entire skin. You also see him, he does it also with glass. That is his ability, as well as he can heal himself. Charlotte doesn't have any powers. She is just like super trained in martial arts though. Elsie, super strength. she can sense death. And if she can sense death, she can see memories. If a room or an object holds like a lot of emotions, she can see memories. Otherwise she can, and it's like very vivid. Otherwise she can just kind of see a little bit back in time in like a room or something. And if she stresses herself to the point of nearly kind of dying, then she can rewrite reality, which is, fun. Who is that? I actually don't think Lucy, Tristan, or Trey. Not Trey. That's his name now. His name's not Trey now. Lucy, Tristan, and not Trey. I don't think any of them have superpowers. I don't believe. And I think that's it. I think that is our main cast. Henry. He is the one that develops superpowers. Like he gets his powers kind of out of nowhere, and he can control wind. And air. Really, he can make it. He can like remove the atmosphere from an area so you can't breathe. He can like whip you in the face with wind, like cut you to shreds like that. And yeah, that is the team. While they're all trying to like figure out and going on these like little mystery hunts to figure out more and more about this. Like, it really seems like it's supposed to be a cult that is doing these killings, and what they're trying to do, figure out what they're going for, what their goal is, as well as, stop the killings, because it'd be nice if people stopped dying. And, big yawn. You missed a really big yawn from this guy. As they keep doing their digs, and they go from, like, one location to another, to, like, different planes and whatnot, they keep getting attacked by this person that has the ability to mirror or mimic their powers. So she's fighting, like Elsie, she's fighting this person, and they're able to take her super strength. If that person is fighting Wesley and he's grabbing a bar, hits him with it, they can grab the bar and then it covers their skin. It's a whole thing. And during one of these fights, everyone is beat to hell, and Elsie's like, I will not be responsible for your deaths, so we're not doing this. We're not fighting anymore. But obviously no one's tolerating that. No one's taking that. So they end up the team gets back together again. Possibly. It's actually it kind of ends undecided. I know like basically everyone but Elsie is on board with the team getting back together, but Elsie is super not on board with the team getting back together. And I get it. It's seeing a bunch of people you care about die is like, that's a little rough. So that's the general plot of the story. There is so much more going on with this book, but there's just so many layers to the lore that's being covered, the world building, that none of this even begins to cover. There's so much with these individual characters' backstories. Elsie has a lot of backstory that's super, super important to the plot and super, super well done. Because, especially, she herself is the child of the people who basically owned this city. So her backstory, her family is super important to the story. But for a general summary of what's going on, this is basically what happens. So, things to talk about with this book. Number one, so I have the thing, basically what it feels like when I read a book is that it's kind of like you're trying to put together gears and make sure the gears are in the right place. And if you're going and switching to a different project or a different type of system that you're trying to do, you rework the gears and then that's the organization the gears need to be in to do this different type of problem. So the biggest explanation of what I mean with when I say this is it feels like my brain rearranges itself when I read Shakespeare to read it and not really be bothered or tripped up by the Shakespearean writing style, if that makes sense. So I was struggling with this book for a little bit because I didn't know like what format my brain needed to be in order to read it, and it didn't hit me for a couple chapters in, but once it did, it like again brain rearranged and we zoomed through the rest of the book. This is a very literary book, and it's literary in the way that it takes a lot of time to give very detailed and lyrical descriptions of especially locations, of atmospheres in the book. And so my brain had to readjust to the way that to the way that pacing shaped the story. Like I said, there's overall there's like little smaller mysteries going on throughout the story. Like we have this unknown person that's attacking them. We have this cult going on. We also have like there's a specific person that that the cult is trying to attack, that our heroes end up fighting and I don't know if they prevent them as much as that person just happened to not be there at the time, but they are able to stop this group of henchmen from getting the person. And then now we're on a mystery to figure out why they're after this person. And like, so there are several mysteries going on. Like there are several small mysteries going on in this book, as well as we're still getting pieces of this greater mystery. We're still getting pieces of this greater lore, because I do believe there's also, I don't recall if there's like especially because we haven't really gotten into the like actual specifics of where the powers come from. But it may or may not actually come from Greek gods, but we do get a lot of Greek mythology and the story, because one of our main characters, Henry, loves to read, and one of our main characters, Elsie, has a book of Greek mythology that she reads pieces of and whatnot. And so we're getting those little bits and pieces, and it's like, it feels like we've got the corner of a puzzle so far, and I'm waiting for more pieces to see how everything fits together. But this is definitely like a big series. This is definitely a big story. This is like, there is a bit of self-contained story that you do get like a satisfying, it's not unsatisfying, but it's like you get the answer, but also I would love more. I would love to see what they're doing right this second. Like, you get the answer to this self-contained story, but I want to keep going. Are you leaving me? Are you leaving me? Bro. You see this guy? He came over here. He was literally yelling at me. And now here he is trying to leave me. Now that I'm trying to do work. Look at this face. Look at this indecisive, abandoning face of yours. But yeah, this story is very big. There's a lot going on in this story. And your foot is embedded in my abdomen, sir. Very excited to see what other like little pieces we're gonna get to the story, how it all connects to what we've already gotten, and how it's going to build going forward. My favorite characters, I love Henry and Elsie. Bit of a slow burn romance there, and I just want them to be happy is all. I just want them to be happy, and I can't wait to see more of these kids. I love Henry is my jackass character, and I love myself a good jackass. I love a jackass of a character. So we thrive with Henry. Let's see what let's see what quotes. Because there's definitely a lot of good quotes. There's like just great storytelling in the book, but there's also like quotes. Like I want this on a t-shirt kind of quotes. So let's see, what are you? Like a big real world help, like spiritually helpful quote in this book is, anger is just a blanket to keep yourself warm when everything else has gone cold. Love that. But also just some great screenwriting, or not screenwriter, just great writing itself is she bit her bottom lip, struggling not to think about the night her life shattered, recalling how she had to find out how to put her pieces back together while dancing around a boy who never knew what it was like to have his pieces together in the first place. Like, that's just good writing. That is good story writing that I obsess over. And then you have just like sweet character. Like, this is, it feels like a real character, and I love everything about them. Like, Henry and Anna are some of the characters that we have, and they're siblings, they're twin siblings, and at some point, like, Anna's crying and Henry gestures towards her. My sister was upset, I had to make her laugh, it's the rule. Like, that's just so sweet, and that feels like a real human, if that makes it. Like, it feels like, I love when a book is just like, yes, this feels so real. These characters feel so real to me through the way that they've been written. I love that. I love that a lot. Let's see, what's this other quote that I've got up here, and then we can go ahead and wrap it up. I love this piece because Henry was abused by his father, and you have this quote where his sister says, "It's not my fault you inherited Dad's giraffe legs." He shoved his hands in the pockets of his coat, clutching the pill bottle waiting for him, letting the silence speak for him. We talked about this. I love this line because it brings to light how there are like these little don't let me. Oh, there are these like little ways and like offhand ways people talk that do not accommodate for like people in different situations, do not accommodate for people in non-typical situations, or quote unquote non-typical situations. And it is very unpleasant, especially when you have to tell someone, hey, I do not want to talk about this person. I do not want to bring them up because of the way that the things that they've done to me, the way they've made me feel. I do not want to talk to them because it feels like people make these offline comments because they just do not get how serious those issues can be. And so they think, oh, it's just like a quick little joke, but that's not any better, you know? Like, that does not make it any less triggering. That doesn't make it any less of a, what's the word? Not dehumanization, but not demoralization. But it almost seems like it dismisses or makes light of and undermines, maybe. Those aren't the exact word that I'm looking for, but I can't think of the exact word. But it treats what you've been through as if it is a little thing, as if it is not a big deal. And so why would you make a big deal over a quick little joke? Because it is like dismissing a lot of what you could actually have been going through. And I love having a brief like instance of that in the book, because that is, I think I've seen it in another book. I honestly kind of think it might have been Love Times Infinity, but I do not remember. But I do love to see stuff like that as someone who does not have like that typical growing up situation, family situation, and whatnot. So that was something I also really appreciated in the book. But yeah, that is all I have here for now. I highly recommend you checking out the book. I'm very excited to see, because there's like an actual cliffhanger at the end of the book, but there's also, like I said, just I feel like it's not like a hard stop. There's more going on in the story, and I want to know what the more is. So I'm very, very, very excited to see what else comes from the story. Don't know when it'll be coming out, but I will be there when it does. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, Valedictions, friends.